Hey Team Bio, welcome to your screencast on Keystone species. So we've kind of three different tracks running simultaneously in biology. We're talking about what makes a good experiment, how we can set a good experiment up, how can we analyze data, how can we construct a compelling graph and an argument from that graph. And then at the same time, we're talking about the tenets of biology, some really big ideas in biology like genetics and evolution and DNA. And then we're also talking at the same time about ecology. And this screencast falls into the ecology theme of things. Okay, so you know from when we organized Earth that the ecosystem is composed of two different components. We got our abiotic factors. Whoops. These are all the non-living things in the ecosystem. And the two biggest, the abiotic factors that have the biggest effect on the ecosystem are the temperature and the precipitation. Now, the ecosystem is also includes the biotic factors, the living things. So this is all the living things. And your screencast last night, we talked about different types of symbioses, parasitism, mutualism, commensalism. This is all about how biotic factors impact each other within the ecosystem. Okay, a keystone species is another type of biotic factor impacting the ecosystem. It gets its name from when you're constructing an arch, the keystone is the last stone that you usually put in, and it holds the whole arch together. So let's define what a keystone species is. It has to have three different qualifications. So it's a species on which other species largely depend. That's the first qualification. Second qualification is it has a large of effect on the ecosystem relative to its abundance. So, for example, you don't need very much of a keystone species in order for it to have a pretty large impact on the ecosystem. That's what that sentence means. And then the last qualification to be a keystone species is that the removal changes the ecosystem dramatically. Okay, so all three of these characteristics, that was a horrible curly bracket. All three of these characteristics are necessary in order to be a keystone species. Okay, so in a few moments, this video is gonna end. And when this video ends, you're gonna go watch another video, which is linked in Schoology. And that video is all about wolf removal or eradication or destruction. Wolves were eliminated. They were hunted out of Yellowstone National Park. And in the early 2000s, I believe it was the early 2000s, maybe it was the 1990s, wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone National Park. And these wolves, breaking news, are a keystone species. This created what's called a trophic cascade. A series of changes to the ecosystem across multiple trophic levels. So what I'd like you to do when this video ends, go to this other video that's linked in Schoology and record what happened to Yellowstone National Park when wolves were removed. It's just like a bulleted list of things that happened to the park when wolves were removed. And then what happened to the park when wolves were reintroduced. Bulleted list. Okay, that's all.